Council agenda, Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, Township Council agenda meeting of August 6, 2024. Introduction, posting of notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December 20th, 2023, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December 26, 2023. May I ask everybody to please rise for the flag salute? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Ms. Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. McGrath.
Here.
Mr. Musella.
Here.
Mr. Neglia.
Here.
Mr. Karifi.
Here.
Also in attendance are Mayor James Barbario, Business Administrator Jamie Cryan, Township Attorney Michael Lavery, and Municipal Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. May I begin?
Yes, please.
Okay, upcoming meetings, August 20th, 2024 at 7 p.m. is the regular meeting. September 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m. is the agenda meeting. At this time, I would like the council and administration to please review ordinances for second reading numbers 1 through 3 before we go on to ordinance number 4. Seeing that there are no questions, we're going to go ahead and move on to ordinance number 4, which is up for a vote today. Ordinance 2024-11, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 205, Highlands Regional Master Plan of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. The notice for this ordinance 2024-11 was published in a Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on July 1st, 2024, and introduced at the June 25th regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2024-11 be heard in the second and final reading.
Motion. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Motion passes. Public hearing. Motion to open up the public hearing for ordinance 2024-11.
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
The floor is open to the public on this ordinance only. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Ken Dolsky, Parsippany. I'm going to thank you in advance for passing this ordinance. I thought for a while this was never going to happen, that this was going to become a Flying Dutchman of ordinances. It was going to circle in the ether forever, and never be passed. But I hope everybody got all their information that they needed, and we're all set to go. Even if we have a power failure, we're going to pass this ordinance, right? Thank you very much.
We have a generator.
Nick Homiak, Lake Hiawatha. I'd also like to thank everyone for putting it back on the agenda. And if I may remind people, in August of 2004, which will be Saturday, August the 10th, the Highlands Water Protection and Planning Act was written into law after it was passed overwhelmingly bipartisan on June the 10th of the same year. So what the Highlands Conformance Consistency actually does, if you're familiar with it, it actually makes home rule even stronger. Without an actual environmental commission or commission members that sit on planning and zoning boards, from my experience, and I mean this as a corrective criticism, a lot of the members lack an ecological knowledge. And some of these developers, when they say these bizarre things like, we're going to make it better, the rain's going to come off the roof of the warehouse, it's going to go into this drain, and the lake's going to get cleaner, or we're going to take all the trees, all the soil, all the vegetation, and we're going to make it better. and they testify as experts to this, not as ecologists, but as developers, landscapers. But I remember asking one developer's client, can you give me an example of ecological services? He didn't know what I was talking about. So, it's a good thing. And, here, I'll give you an example. This is, basic ecology. Ecosystem services replacements may only provide a fraction of the services provided by the highly functional natural systems. The ecological services, trees retain water, they sequester carbon. What else can I say here? All right, but you get the idea. We're 100% in the planning area. We have nothing to lose. If a developer comes and he's telling you what to do with your master plan, hopefully those days are over. So the Highlands consistency should work out to be the most positive thing that happened to Parsippany since cream cheese. And I'll leave it at that. So thank you very much.
Okay, see no one else? Oh, hold on.
Are you here to speak on the ordinance, ma'am, the Highlands ordinance, or no? Okay, so this is for the Highlands ordinance. It's okay. We're going to have a public session, and you'll be able to speak. Not a problem. Okay, seeing no one else for this specific ordinance, I'd like to motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is closed. Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and the notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Can I get a motion to approve the above resolution for ordinance 2024-11, please?
Motion.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to open up the public session, please.
Motion.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, now the floor is open to the public. You can speak on any matter, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Please just sign in before, and you just have to state your name. You do not have to state your address for the record.
Nancy Brighton, speaking on behalf for the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee, with a request for the council to pass a resolution in support of Revolution, New Jersey, that will allow the historical societies, the Parsippany Historical and Preservation Society, as well as the Mount Tabor Historical Society, and the committee to participate in the state's Revolution, New Jersey commemorative activities of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 2026. The state of New Jersey is joining the national effort and has created Revolution, New Jersey, and it's asking municipalities and historical societies and historic organizations to support the effort. And so they request that municipalities pass a resolution. They will be recognized on the Revolution New Jersey webpage and all social media, and that enables the historical societies to take part in the statewide activities, as well as benefit from collaboration on events and actually in media as well. So I have copies of the template that the Revolution New Jersey committee has a template. So the committee put a template together for you. It can be revised however you need it to be to say whatever the township requires. On the top, there is sort of a fact sheet that goes into what Revolution New Jersey is, as well as the whole 250th anniversary. The historical societies have already started working with the Morris County Historical Societies to coordinate on the types of subject matter, events, and different things. For everybody's knowledge, that Parsippany has a Revolutionary War past. In the cemetery, there's at least two dozen individuals buried there who took part in some fashion in the American Revolution, as well as having a number of historic structures and historic, we all know the Livingston Benedict House was the place where William Livingston hid out during the American Revolution. So we're looking for support from the council to enable the historical societies to participate fully in this commemoration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Astorga. I'm a Parsippany resident. My wife and I anticipated a presentation tonight about amending the cannabis ordinance in Parsippany, and we don't see it on the agenda. As you all know, we have been advocating for this issue for nearly 2 years. When we proposed changing the ordinance to allow Class 5 retailers in town, dispensaries in town, there were 0 adult use dispensaries in Morris County, and we now have 4 near us, 2 in Rockaway Borough, 1 in Rockaway Township, and the most recent just opened in Boonton. My wife and I attended the grand opening in Boonton on July 27th and ran into several Parsippany residents who were happy to have a dispensary that is conveniently located. During our regular attendance at the Economic Development Committee meetings here in town, we have frequently discussed the benefits of establishing a dispensary within Parsippany. The mayor and chief of police from Rockaway Borough came in and discussed their town's experience since opening the first dispensary in Morris County and only had positive things to say about its impact on the local community. Some of you all were in attendance. Our council meetings consistently address the need to fill vacant properties, enhance property and land tax revenue, and diversify our revenue sources to alleviate the tax burden on our residents. Introducing a cannabis dispensary is in line with addressing these needs, as there's a 2% municipal tax on all revenues. Our residents are currently traveling outside Parsippany to purchase cannabis products, effectively diverting these tax dollars to surrounding municipalities. What is the definitive timeline for the cannabis presentation and amending the ordinance in Parsippany? Thank you. Good night.
When I do my report, I'll report on the cannabis.
Hi, everyone. Hello, everybody. Real quick, no fancy speeches or anything. I know a lot of you guys have political connections with state senators, state assembly people, federal senators, federal assembly people, though the amendment that I'm asking for already passed the assembly, but hopefully it'll pass the U.S. Senate. If you have pencils handy, I don't know if you can do it, it's H.R. 8998. It's to prevent the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area from becoming a federal park. They're trying to keep it the way it is. I know a lot of Parsippany residents go up there. In fact, I found somebody's license up there that actually lived in town, and I work at the store. We called the person up and said, hey, we found your license in the woods. Anyway, if you could possibly, this is for the U.S. Senate, that's their bill. Now, for the state Senate, there's another bill. It's AR 133, and the second bill is SR 93. That's also to prevent it from becoming a national park. That's the first thing. Second thing I was going to ask is, well, we'll make that the third question. I have a tree in my front yard. I've called the township about it. They said, too close to the power lines, OSHA violation. They had natural gas come out. They trimmed it. No problem. But there's a lot of dead branches there. My neighbors have actually called up township. And I'm not an arborist, they're not arborists. There's a lot of kids that walk down my street to go to school. One of those branches has to be close to 1,000 pounds. And if it falls on the power lines, it's gonna wipe out the whole neighborhood's power grid for God knows, how long it's gonna take to fix it. Not throwing anybody under the bus, but you could actually see there's holes in the main trunk. I have pictures, but I guess you'll take my words for it.
Is it a town tree?
Yes.
It is, okay. I will speak to the Parks Enforcement Director tomorrow.
And I know, believe it or not, there used to be a lot of trees on my street.
Right.
Probably lost about 4 or 5. If they could replace that tree, I'm not planning on moving soon. So,
Okay.
whatever, it's a maple tree. And like I said, Parsippany used to have a lot of trees in the neighborhoods. They get older, they die. With the amount of pollution off of 80, I think one tree takes care of 1 acre of grass, basically,
Right.
for clean leader. And the third thing is the thing I always nag you guys about. Any luck on the construction yard?
I did have correspondence with the woman from the NJDOT. I'm not gonna wait for my report and as you know, it's very difficult for them to get back to you. Now, we did have conversations with regards to the property, and when I spoke to Justin Lees, the property was supposed to be being leased out to one of the vendors, to complete the projects. When I spoke to her, she was kind of surprised, because she took over for some other gentleman.
Yeah, there was actually two.
Yeah, but she's supposed to get back to me within a week or two. And once she does, I'll actually call you, Carl.
That's I see you all the time.
Yeah, I know,
We're
ShopRite.
good.
I know. I know where to find you.
Yep. All right, that's all I want to bother you guys for tonight.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cassara Grosso from Parsippany. I'm just speaking on behalf of the Parsippany Neighborhood Watch. I wanted to highlight our upcoming meeting on Wednesday, August 28th at 7 p.m., which will be held at the Parsippany Municipal Courthouse. We'll be hosting the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition, and they'll be giving a presentation on street safety. This event is, as always, open to all Parsippany residents and business owners, and I really hope that all of you can attend. We appreciate your support and attendance. Thank you.
Tony Fasano. Everybody knows we're on Route 41 Robin Hood Road, Morris Plains, New Jersey. I want to pass on a thank you from one of our business community people. His name is Kenny Sims. His family lived here for a long time. Mount Tabor residents for approximately 100 years. He would like to thank the mayor and the board for the public transportation for the senior citizens. They can't take Ubers, and especially 4 of his clients cannot because they're blind. So he asked me to say thank you and keep it going.
Good evening, all. My name is Daman Sharma from Glenmont Commons. Just follow-up questions. The last several years, we have these same issues that we are coming here for. Question number 1, has the township Parsippany filed litigation against the Glenmont Commons developer? If so, Glenmont residents be included in the discussion with township representatives during the litigation phase? Question number 2, when will the township of Parsippany take ownership of the following roads of single-family homes located on Seasons Glen Drive, Winterset Drive, Gathering Hill, and Eventide Court? Question 3, when will the township of Parsippany do the next round of pothole patchwork by an appropriate standards? Question 4, During the last council meeting, Glenmont residents were assured that the vacant lot with overgrown 4 to 5 feet grass will be removed by a landscaper contracted by city. Still, so far, there have been no updates and conditions have worsened. Anyone can help me answer these questions. Thank you.
You want to start?
Yes, please.
So the litigation is going to be filed imminently. There's one last meeting with the Township Engineering Department to go over some basic facts before it gets filed. The residents can certainly intervene in the litigation if they want to be part of it. I assume that eventually the homeowners association is going to be involved in that litigation as well. And that's what I can tell you at this point. And as to when that litigation is going to be, the town's filing against the developer. I'm sure the developer is going to counterclaim against the homeowners association, and it's going to take some time. So I can't give you a timeline as to when that's going to be resolved.
Anyone else from the public? Okay. I'm sorry, you can, if you'd like, you could speak after the meeting, if you have any other follow-up questions, but unfortunately, we can't allow any more questions, so I apologize. You need to say something, man? Please, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Melanie Medina.
Could you just speak closer to the mic? Thanks.
My name is Melanie Medina, so I'm a resident in town. My kids go to school here. So the reason why I'm here tonight is because I'm very concerned about our schools and the direction that they're going. I did write an email last week to our superintendent and our president of the Board of Ed because I'm very concerned about the waiving of the policy for the maximum number of children in an elementary school class. In response to that email, I got an email from our superintendent doing, in my opinion, doing a lot of finger pointing at you as well as with the board for not meeting with them in regard to the pilots and the overcrowding and things like that. So I'm just here basically to ask that you meet with them because it is our kids that are in the middle.
I'm sorry, Council President. So just for clarity.
Wait, are you done? Are you done? Okay.
I just wanted clarification. So you wrote a letter alerting them about the overcrowding of the classrooms and they blamed it on the town?
No. So I wrote an email saying that I was very unhappy with them waiving the policy that caps elementary school classes K-5 at 25 students. My daughter's class was very large. My daughter's kindergarten class was 26 children and her first grade class was 25. And the email that I got back I can read it to you, it's on my phone, but it does say a lot that they've been asking for a meeting. They said it publicly at the meeting.
Well, that's not going to reduce the school size. That has nothing to do with it.
For sure, but it does talk about revenue sharing from the pilots and that they need to know that before that they can make future plans and go forward.
So just a reference, so if you go back and watch the school board session, the superintendent said they're going to waive the 25-to-1 ratio because of students coming in from pilots and construction. So I think the question should be is what's the impact of that? So number of students, number of teachers, classroom sizes, how many students have come in from pilots year to date? What's the expectation year over year? And then that will give you the answer back as to how that might work.
And I think that they can figure that out too. I mean, there's tons of studies, there's tons of towns that do pilot programs, but I think...
I'll answer the one question, though. Not one student's come from the pilots.
Well,
The pilots aren't even done yet, so.
Well,
Unless they're at UPS.
Unless the UPS, that's about it.
No, I agree with you, but I do think that meeting is important for the thinking forward for our kids.
Ma'am, and just so you know, pilots don't create students.
No, I
Okay, high-density housing is what's bringing in the students. The pilots have no bearing on the amount of students whatsoever.
I agree. I'm just here to ask that. I think both entities need to work together because the reality is they do affect each other.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That board is actually crazy. It's a crazy response. What's wrong with that board? They really like that.
Nick Komiak, Lake Hiawatha. Just getting back to the Highlands, for your own information, there's a YouTube, a documentary movie that's been around for a long time, and it's called Rediscovering, the Highlands Rediscovered. And it was a water resource doctor, Dr. Dan Von Abs. You could find it on YouTube. It's been in the library, but you might want to see the movie. And, you know, Parsippany is part of the Highlands, and I believe they should even show the movie in the school. On the pilots and the warehouses, this is my take on it. The warehouse is going to employ people. I don't know how many people, but I would imagine quite a bit. I can't imagine them not wanting to live in Parsippany. But what I would think, if there's any way to really work out a deal with a developer and to lower your housing number, say, being we are going to be a center of employment for these warehouses, and we do have affordable housing, which is mostly not affordable, increase the number of affordable units to accommodate the warehouse laborers and lower your numbers, if that makes any sense.
Are you done, Nick?
I want to say a couple more things, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. The marijuana botanical, if I'm saying it right, I can't understand why it's so much opposition. You can walk into a smoke shop, a vape shop, and those products are really degenerate and they're bad for your health. And the trash is all over the place. And you got the energy drinks. And in my adopted area, which I celebrated 10 years in the Knoll, cleaning up the trash in the Knoll, you wouldn't believe the amount of that stuff I find in the litter stream. So I can't see how a marijuana store or whatever medical could really do any harm. And on Carl's thing about the national, not wanting to be a national park, I've been a volunteer in a national park in the Delaware Water Gap officially since I've been 26 years old, and I've done a lot of hard labor. And this is the third attempt that was made to change the title of the park. It is a national park already. It's a national recreation area. It's the lowest form of national park. It's like whatever the people want. They want to have a picnic in the garbage. That's okay. Very little law enforcement, high impact. The park with a title change can only get better. It couldn't possibly get any worse. And the new element, mostly in Sussex County, that is against it, most of their information is false. It's misleading. It's not true. And I hate to say it, they're anti-government people. It's like when the national park took over and condemned all the property, you still have people living up there that don't like the national park and the government for what they think, you know, could have been their property. But the idea of the national park by the former superintendent, John Donahue, if you get into it, it's really a really good thing. They even have an element where they want to bring back Native Americans, actual descendants of the Muncie Mohegan Indians that lived in the valley, and actually bring them back into the park. It's not going to take away hunting or fishing. That's all made up.
Seconds, Nicholas.
And part of it is going to be a reserve. You'll get more money and more law enforcement with a real national park. Recreation areas, you know, so I wouldn't, you should do a lot more research on that for you support any of it. And I even took a course in national park management years ago and used to go to a lot of meetings, so I do know what I'm talking about. So.
Nick, in reference to your idea, great idea. I'm sure we all wish that we could do that, where more of these apartments that are being built could be for the affordable. The problem is there's a thing called builder's remedy, because the developers don't make any money off of the affordable units. So builder's remedy allows them for every one affordable to build 4 regular units. And what they do is they jack up the price of those 4 units to cover the cost of the affordable. If, let's, for instance, next round, let's say we get 1,000 more units of affordable that we need, that means they get to build 5,000 more units. We would love to just say, okay, if our number's 1,000, build 1,000 and that's it, we're done. Because we would already be done with all this stuff we have springing up if we were allowed, but the developers would never build it because they don't make any money. So that's why we're now calling it high density, because in order to cover it, they're getting all these extra units. That's the problem. Your idea is a great idea, but we can't do it.
I think the Highlands is gonna be helping you out sooner than you
As I
think.
can't have back and forth.
That would be great.
Anyone else?
Hello, Jess Becker from Puddingstone. I actually don't have any questions or complaints. I just want to thank you for putting the Highlands ordinance back on the agenda and for voting for it. We at Puddingstone really appreciate it, and I just wanted to come up and thank you all tonight. Thanks. And thank you to Ken for all his hard work on that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Floor is closed. At this time, I'd like you guys to quickly review the consent agenda and the approval of minutes. Seeing there are no questions, we're going to go ahead and move on to presentations and reports. Mayor?
Thank you, Glenn. First, I would like to start off with, I would like to thank Cyclecraft for the bike helmet donation. Brenda and Kat Poe, they're very, very involved. They want to be involved in the community since we had the incident on Littleton Road with the young boy being killed. So they're going to be a partner with the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. It's an initiative that we're going to be working directly with organizations like Cyclecraft. So that was that. And then here, I just want to give some numbers out for GovPilot. Our pilot numbers year to date. There were 468, I guess complaints you can call them, and 433 that have been closed. That's 93%. 30 are in progress, which is 6%, and 5 are still open. So we're working to close it out at 100%. Community policing and safety. I put an initiative out that I want our police officers, when they're going around town, to stop. Take the time out, see children playing, go out, introduce yourself, go to the PAL, like when I was a kid here in Parsippany. That's what they did. And it was pretty awesome. And that's what they've been doing. They've been engaging with students, children, and with our residents. So I want to thank the chief for taking that initiative that we created and moving forward with it. The farmer's market, okay, I don't know if it's going to be this Friday, considering all the rain we're going to get, but the farmer's market's going very well, and if we do have the concert, 3-day weekend we'll be playing. As for the cannabis presentation, we will have the presentation on August 20th. The thing with the cannabis ordinance was there was things in it I just did not like, and I know that if we would have put this forward, I would have vetoed it. I want to have a sound one. Although it can make a lot of revenue, there's all those residents that are objecting to it, that don't want to have a cannabis dispensary in Parsippany. I understand that we need to, move forward, and I think the presentation we have, I think the council will be satisfied, as well as those members that have come up here. With regards to the school board, I prepared the letter that I'm sending to the board president by email either tomorrow or Thursday, and I'm going to read it into the record. Dear Board President Chaffo, I hope this letter finds you well. Thank you for your correspondence dated July 24, 2024, updating me that the ad hoc committee of the Board of Education, consisting of you, Susie Golder, and Michelle Chappelle, are prepared to meet at my convenience. Now, before I read on, the reason why I didn't meet was a lot of individuals were on summer vacation. At one point, Mr. McGrath was away, so we waited for the school season to end, and then I'm going to get to my next part. But I would be remiss for not mentioning that since our last productive meeting, there has been an alarming political activity by Mr. Chaffo and other board members. And as you know, board members are not supposed to be involved in politics because it takes away from placing the focus where it should be when making decisions on Parsippany's children. Our school district, like all districts, is facing challenging circumstances, rising costs, out-of-control spending, and curriculum mandates that may not fit Parsippany's best interest. The work of the board should be focused on supporting children and guiding our district through these challenges, rather than engaging in partisan politics. As Dr. Timothy Purnell, Executive Director and CEO of the New Jersey School Board Association, said, the work of the board should be focused on supporting children and guiding our districts through these challenges, rather than engaging in partisan arguments. In a time of nationwide political polarization, I respectfully request that the Parsippany Board of Education put aside focusing on local politics and join me in focusing on working together in the interest of our residents, students, and our children. In the interest of ensuring we are all making sound financial decisions on behalf of the students and residents of Parsippany-Troy Hills, please consider saving money it takes to send a certified letter to me and just send it email. Family is among life's most precious gifts. I hope you and members of the board have a peaceful and relaxing rest of the summer, surrounded by family, friends, good cheer, and great weather. Best regards, Mayor James Barbario. But I have to take this a step further. Since the last meeting that the school board had, and ma'am, if you can give me a copy of your email that was sent to you, I would appreciate that. There were a lot of comments that were made by the school board president towards me and council vice president. But since witnessing the Board of Education's irrational behavior, and I don't mean all board members, I've become concerned that they are not good stewards of our taxpayers' dollars, and that poor decisions may be hurting our children and our teachers. So I have engaged in a special school auditor to determine whether our funds are being expended wisely and appropriately. So my answer to Mr. Chapo and the Board of Education is, if you really want to meet, keep the politics out of it. And before I go on about the school board auditor, I want to congratulate the 5 residents who have declared their candidacy for 3 open seats in the upcoming Board of Education election to be held on November 5th. 5 candidates have filed for the 3 available seats, and residents will vote to decide who will serve on the board. This year, our residents have some great choices with 3 incumbents: Judy Meyer, Sheetal Abraham, Susie Golder, along with Board of Education member Matthew DeVito and Victoria Stockdale, who has been a staunch advocate for individuals with autism and special needs. I wish all the candidates well in the upcoming election. So we will be hiring Frank DeMaria and Associates, LLP, accountants and advisors. Frank DeMaria is a school board auditor. He's a CPA, certified public accountant. He's a CGMA, certified global management accountant. RMA, registered municipal accountant. MST, Masters of Science in Taxation. CMFO, certified municipal financial advisor. I truly want to meet with the board, but I really don't want the politics involved in it. Things were going very well until recently. So if Mr. Chapo is really interested and has the best interest of the children, the students, and its residents, then he will keep the politics out of it. If he doesn't, then we're not going to meet. It's that simple. Because why meet when everything's going to be, like you said in the back, when the woman said that, we have to get along. Keep the politics out of it. We had some great meetings. Council Vice President, you know they were good. Councilman McGrath, they were good. But if the politics keeps getting involved, it's not going to hurt nobody but the children. So I'm willing to move forward. I know Council Vice President Neglia is, and Councilman McGrath, who we've had many conversations with. And one of the conversations was getting a school board auditor to look at their numbers, their books, and look at the ratios that you spoke about. And this guy comes highly touted. So I thank you, Council President, for giving me the time.
Thank you.
Township Council?
Well, I would just say, just in response to hearing that, I guess, I can only say all the board members that I've dealt with, in my opinion, I think they do have the best interests of our children at heart, and I know they do great work for the whole community. And I think that, conversations between the town and the Board of Ed should be had. I just worry that an audit might be something that will move us farther apart instead of pulling us together. I'd like to, get some more information on what will transpire with that, since this is the first time I'm hearing of it. But the second thing I was going to mention is, as Nancy brought up, I really hope that at the next council meeting, we can add the resolution commemorating the 250th anniversary of, the United States, because we do have the Washington Rochambeau Trail, and some other Revolutionary War aspects that I think we can highlight as a municipality and are really timely.
Okay, Township Attorney?
The only item I have is for executive session, which is the potential settlement of the tax appeal.
Thank you.
Business Administrator?
No report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not have a report at this time, and there's no correspondence. And we're moving along to the approval of payroll and bills list. CFO Leonard Ho recommends authorization for payment, authorizes payment of the August 2nd, 2024 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,650,000. And number two, payment of bills from voucher list 8124 through 8324, which is $1,057,913.11. Now please have a motion to approve the authorization for payment.
Motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hernandez, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia? Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. At this time, we're going to go ahead and read the resolution for executive session. Just for the public, for their information, we're going to be in executive session no longer than about 5 minutes, and we do anticipate action to be taken immediately thereafter. With that being said, resolution, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss attorney-client privilege matters with regards to settlement agreement, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes will be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. Motion to adjourn into a closed session.
Make a motion?
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Ms. Hernandez. Roll call, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
We're going to adjourn into a closed session for a few minutes. Thank you.
Properties. There was a recommendation from Special Tax Council as well as the tax assessor to accept the settlement in these two appeals. So we would just need a resolution adopted by the council if they're so inclined to approve it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lavery. At this time, we do have a resolution that is placed on the agenda for the settlement agreement in the matter of MCC3 Acquisition LLC, JLL versus Parsippany-Troy Hills. At this time, it is resolution, for the record, by the way, 2024-134. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion. Second?
Who made that motion, Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Motion passes. May I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion?
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
We're adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.